All right, welcome to my daily review. Today is March 25, Monday, and you're looking at the Russell 2000 index. It was the only index that was higher today, and that's a good sign. I like to see the smaller caps participate. It means that investors are willing to take on more risk. The Dow and the Nasdaq and the S&P were all down. But the Russell managed to eke out a little gain here. So yeah, 2 points, 0.10%. But hey, a gain is a gain, right? And it just shows that, investors, the institutions are willing to take on, a little bit more risk here as they anticipate, some rate cuts towards the end of the year, I guess. The Nasdaq had been really hot. I got to go to a weekly chart. Last week, this thing was up, 2.85%, 455 points. So it was due to give back a little. If you just look at the weekly, it looked like a little speck on the radar, a little blip. Just a incy-bincy, itty-bitty, teeny-weeny pullback today of 44 points, 0.27%. The Nasdaq closed at 16,394. I just wanted to point out something right here, 384, excuse me, that it's still, 0.7% above the 10 and 1.5% above the 21. So this is a very healthy market, 3.7% above the 50, which is this red line here. So it's just being supported by the 21, and today was kind of a window dressing type of day. I've got to start with Apple, because the DOJ is after him, and now Europe investigating. The chart, the chart shows this damage for one, and I think a lot of this stuff is already in the chart, but for them to grow, it's going to be really tough for Apple. I'm not going to say, they've hit the end of the road, but it's just going to be really hard for them to, be making new highs and be a leader in this market. And the other one was a Meta, European Union, coming after him a little bit. I don't know if there's going to make any headway here, but this is still above its 10. And right there at the 500 level, Meta looks fine. And the other one was Google, which I had on our Reddit list today. I like the looks of this stock, and if it just pulls back to that 10, that's fine for me. Yeah, just a low volume move today. I did mention some window dressing. I thought I saw some in NVIDIA. And now I hear people saying, first of all, NVIDIA was up $7 today, not a big deal. I believe it's going to hit 1,000 before anything happens with this one. So it'd be a good trade there from 950 to 1,000. We'll take that, right? But I hear people saying like everybody who wants to own NVIDIA already owns NVIDIA, and that's just flat out not true. It's a lazy person's way of thinking. Yeah, a lot of these companies do. Institutions, you can see in December there was 7,000 mutual funds that owned NVIDIA, and including Danoff over there at Fidelity's got 10 million. He probably has more now. He should. But so, and you take a look at Microsoft, does it have 7,000 funds? No, it's got like over 10,000 funds. So, NVIDIA, there's a lot more funds that can buy NVIDIA. There's a lot more within the funds that can see. Contra's got 21 million shares of Microsoft. So don't tell me that NVIDIA is overbought and there's no more buyers out there. That's a bunch of hooey. NVIDIA is, I think it's for sure, no, I shouldn't say for sure, but it's a stock to own. There's a lot more funds out there that can buy it and, probably will buy it. And I just think, this trajectory looks to me like it's going to 1,000. And not going to go there in a straight line, but it's going to get there, take out the 974. And anyway, like I said, it just looked like window dressing to me. It was up on average volume today. AMD was in the news for the China business. It's just being supported at the 50. I put on my in this morning's report, this dip here. I thought it would be it's kind of already priced in this news. We saw it last week. And then, the news hits, and then, you get panic sellers, and it was bought up right away and just kind of ended flat on the session right near the 50. You could see that right there. It's just, it's been in this like avalanche or, falling wedge type of trade. And so I think, this kind of stuff was already priced in, and there was definitely buyers here today, and this could be window dressing. You should, own AMD. It's only got 4,000 funds owning it. So, AMD looks fine to me. I don't think that China news was a real big deal. But I always warn that, these companies with a lot of exposure to China, like Tesla and Apple, they're really struggling now. Because, that economy is pretty weak. Let me see. What was the other one? Oh, ARM was on our ready list today. I like this flag pattern. It kind of broke out, above this little downtrending line here. It looks fine. If you look at the weekly, got to go to the weekly. This is definitely, a flag pattern. You get your pole and you got your flag, and this looks like it's pinching in a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing go, back above the 150 level. ARM looks fantastic. Broadcom, AVGO is their ticker symbol, unfortunately. It pulled back, and we've seen this a lot here. These stocks will pull back, undercut their moving averages and rip higher. It had a investor day last week where they introduced new chips, and they were well received. So Broadcom looks fine. Just had a little, like a nothing burger day today. Just flat. It's about as flat as you can be for Broadcom. Anyway, I'm going to get out of these AI stocks. I just wanted to point that out to you that NVIDIA's. There's a lot of institutions that can still buy NVIDIA. It's not the end of the world or overbought. I've got to go to an area that's a little concerning, and people are, wondering like what's going on with the software names. It's been a pretty rough go for software, and especially the security software. CrowdStrike's hanging in there. I mean, it's just going, sideways, with its moving averages, not doing anything wrong, but not really doing anything right either. It's just kind of consolidating these massive gains here. So CrowdStrike to me is like it's the best house on a bad street here in a bad neighborhood. Cyber is another one that's looking pretty good. It's holding up to its moving averages, but and it's not making any appreciation. Palo Alto, you could see this one traded down to its 200 after its earnings, and it got rejected at its 50. So that was once support, is now resistance for Palo Alto. And then the other one that I wanted to show is NTNX. I know there's a lot of talk about this one today breaking above its downtrend line, but it ended lower. Yeah, it's supported by the 21. It was just kind of a tough day on the index. There was just not much going on today, to be honest with you. Especially in software. And then Palantir, of course, this is the big one I have on my leading stock list. It's holding up better than most, just trading sideways, and just you can see the light volume here as it pulls back, which is good, but we just gonna probably have to wait till this month clears and we get into April, and maybe get some new buyers here for these software names. I guess I could go through a couple more. Monday, just trading side. This is really good for software, because a lot of them are getting, sold like a Snow. Just cannot, it can't get any headway. Snowflake, ESTC is another one. Just, sold off below its 50, now just going nowhere. So the software names are having a little bit of a tough time here. Anyway, I'm going to go to something a little more positive. The drug names, Novo. They bought a cardiovascular company today. Usually when you buy a company, the stock sells off because it's accumulating, taking on more debt. But Novo's got, quite a bit of cash on hand, and they can absorb. It wasn't a big deal, but they're getting into the cardiovascular space. This company has a compound. And of course, their Wegovy was approved by Medicare for cardiovascular, which is the #1 killer in the world. But this one is just, this is, classic, make a new high, then pull back to the 21. It's not doing anything wrong, but once again, you're just going to have to wait till earnings, I believe, for Novo. You can see they have tremendous earnings and sales growth. We're going to have to hear about their plans going forward. Their manufacturing, is the supply chain getting any better, that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure they're going to report really strong earnings. Lilly, I have this on my ready list. I'm a little apprehensive about this one. This one trades really strange. You can see before it did this type of action here for a while. After a move higher, it just did this like wedging. It's just wedging action. That's what it's doing here. It's just wedging higher. No great big volume. Once again, I think you're gonna have to wait till what, April 30th. You're gonna have to wait a month or so for earnings for it to make, I don't know, a really big move, out of that 800 level. But I think it could be a trade up to 800 is in this little consolidation area. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks just going sideways for Eli Lilly. So anyway, uh, I like Lilly, and it's not doing anything wrong. Viking, this one looks a little bit like ARM, where it's doing this little flag thing on the weekly here. It's got this big pole, and then now it's just kind of flagging out. Came down with the Novo news, but still it held what was it, the 70 area, 69? Yeah. Yeah, this thing's doing nothing wrong. Supported by that 10 EMA, which is that green line. You can see that there as the 10 went spiked with the move higher, and now it's being supported there. So we'll see. The 10, the 21, they're going to come up with a data readout here pretty soon. So I'm interested in hearing from them. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the foreign banks. These things are amazing. Just keeps going higher every day. These things are on a heater and they have momentum. This is Banco Macro. It's an ADR from Argentina, and it just has momentum. GGAL, another foreign bank, just trading higher. It's pretty flat today, but definitely trending in the right direction, allowing the moving averages to catch up. And then CIB, this is a Latin America bank. What was it? Flat today too. I'm still consolidating in a base. It looks pretty good if you like financials. I tend to stay away from those, but that chart looks pretty good. Diamondback Energy, the energy stocks are doing really well. They have strength. You got to look at the weeklies on these. FANG bought a Permian Basin company, and it was well received, and now it's just trending higher. You could see that move up there, the gap higher, and then it just trends. Yeah, 18% move in a week, and now it's just trending with its moving averages, man, just surfing like Kelly Slater. Anyway, Matador is one that I'm going to put on my ready list, I believe. Kind of like the looks of this one. You got to go to the weekly here where it had this base on base pattern. This is back from 2022. It had this big old base of 49 weeks, and then this more recent base, this is a base on base, that's 21 weeks, so you're looking at 70 weeks of sideways action, and it has shown the ability to really move higher, go sideways, rip higher, go sideways, go higher, form a little base, trade up, base, trade up, and then now it's been just like sideways for a long time, so it does have the ability to move. That's Matador Resources, US exploration stock. And then of course, Weatherford, I should have put this one on our ready list, but I didn't. WFRD. WFRD is the ticker symbol. If I could type it in properly, that would be great. Anyway, Weatherford on the daily, making a new high today, breaking out of this base and just being supported by the moving average. And so, yeah, another strong stock. I've got to go to the retail names though, because retail is being hit. I think the Nike and the Lulu reports kind of heard. They talked about maybe perhaps a slowing consumer, which I kind of doubt. But anyway, I think Lulu is being hit by some competition here. They have some stiff competition. I see, the people at the gym wear these different kinds of yoga pants. They're not all Lululemon now. I don't know. There's not really a moat for yoga pants, but they've done great over time. It's been a lower left to upper right stock, but the growth is slowing, I believe, for this company. And if you look at the sales 24, 18, 19, 16, yeah, it's starting to slow a little bit. Still, it's a cash cow. They got a ton of cash flow and return on equity. A great company. It's just slowing a little bit. That's all. Anyway, Abercrombie and Fitch today down. What was it, down $10? I had to sell it because I bought it at 120, went up as it ran through these moving averages, but I can't allow a gain to turn into a loss, so I'll just sell it and move on. My mistake was not buying it when I put it on the leading stock list here at 55. I kept saying it's extended, and that's the problem. Sometimes you have to buy a stock that's extended. and on a pullback, or I just screwed that trade up, so I just sold it. Yeah, should have had it back way back here anyway. Abercrombie and Fitch down 10% today. So anyway, there's a winning trade. Sliced its 21. Looks like it might pull back to its 50. It's a very inexpensive stock. But anyway, I'm moving on. Crocs. Crocs is one that, didn't seem too bothered by Lululemon. It continued to ramp higher last week, even after that a report from Nike and Lulu. This thing continued higher. Yeah, it was up 10.5% last week. Gave back, literally nothing today. Flat. You'd have to call that flat. Some of the restaurant stocks got hit today. Shake Shack, pulled back to its 21. That's a heck of a move. 6%. Maybe it's going to have trouble with that 100 level after all. I don't know. But yeah, that's not a good sign there. Slicing the 10, and hopefully, if you're long, you want to see it find support here at the 21. Maybe it's an opportunity for others to jump in. Texas Roadhouse, another one. Some profit taking today. I guess it crossed below its 10. Still looks fine. Yeah, pretty much a flat day for Texas Roadhouse. Chipotle, the 50-to-1 stock split. People love a stock split. I don't know why, but it did trade up to 3,000 last week, and now it's pulled back. Still looks phenomenal. And then Wingstop. Wingstop had a good day today. Somebody mentioned this to me, and every time I bring up Wingstop, people are saying, "Oh, it's going out of business. The stock's terrible." But yeah, just slight little hiccup in the open and just ramped higher. So there's nothing wrong with Wingstop. It looks fine. You can see it did make a high, pull back below the 21 and ramped higher. We've seen that over and over and over again, and that's why I said to keep an eye on AMD. Okay, I think that's it for me for today. Oh, no, I've got it's always a healthy sign to see new merchandise come to market. And we're starting to see that a little bit here. I pointed out over the weekend 5 or 6 or 7 IPOs that are, doing well. Reddit, this is the third day it's traded. Nice 30% gainer today. Up $13. It's not profitable, but you can see that it's being bought. So that's always a healthy sign for the market when IPOs are launching and that institutions feel comfortable bringing new merchandise to market. Speaking of which, A-Labs is a semiconductor fabulous stock, and it's been up every day, 4 days in a row. So every shareholder should be happy. Man, it hit 86 today. Nice. A low of 70. That's quite a range, quite a daily range. But STRL Labs looking fantastic. And the other one was that I wanted to show was TBB, TBBB, 3 Bs, TBBB, and this one kind of had this little consolidation. Now it's just ramping higher. It looks fantastic. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but the stock looked great. It's just a good sign to have these come to market. And that's it for me for today, except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and that is crypto is on a rally. I mean, it's in rally mode. I don't know much about crypto. I don't trade it that much. I've got a little bit in IBIT, and just because it trades with the price of Bitcoin, I don't really, it's not a sizable position, but $40, that's okay with me. I don't care. But I do have to notice the stocks and acknowledge the stocks that are ramping. This is a Clean Spark, that 23.45, pull back to 14. It tested and retested that low and now has ramped higher. Closed today at 21% above the 10, so that's pretty hot. Pretty hot stock, up 20% today. MSTR, another one that's just been rocketing higher. It's got the David Ryan ants here. Made a new high today with 1,873, up at a cool 22%. So these things are definitely ramping higher. Coinbase, another one. We had this on our ready list here. Is it had this cup shape pattern and then a handle that's a shakeout, but that was like last month, right? Yeah, I haven't touched this thing since. It did pull back to the 21, which gave an opportunity, like a second opportunity, but this thing's a little hot, up nearly 10% again today. So the crypto market's strong. This week is a short week. Friday, the markets are closed. So we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is the last week of the month. You're probably going to continue to see more window dressing, but it's a really strong market. Good to see the Nasdaq, give a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a pullback today. There's nothing wrong with that, on a little lighter volume. So not that that matters, but still the winning stocks, we have the leading stocks, and our stock list doing fine. And check in the morning for more stocks on our ready list. Anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching.